Greetings, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Caregivers Chronicles Unveiled. I am your host, Doc Steph, and I thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection and understanding. I know it's been quite a while, but I've been trying to process the events that has been happening the last 3 months regarding my loved one, my mom, who I had been caring for recently, and trying to process her transition and prepare myself, which can never really be done, and also processing the end of caregiving. Just a plethora of emotional time for me at this moment. But I wanted to come on and share this episode about the silent emotions after the farewell. And we are going to dig into a deeply personal topic that I believe is profoundly significant for many of us in the caregiving community. We will be talking about the emotional journey that follows the passing of a loved one whom we have cared for. Losing a loved one is a path I have recently walked myself, and I want to share not just the struggles, but also the moments of unexpected grace that come with this experience. We often speak about the challenges and joys of caregiving, but I would like to turn our focus to what happens when our caregiving role reaches its natural conclusion. The silence that follows can be as overwhelming as it is profound. It's a time filled with a myriad of emotions like grief, relief, confusion, and perhaps a sense of loss, not just of the loved one, but a part of our own identity. Having navigated the profound waters of a testament of love and resilience, we now stand at a crucial juncture. This next phase, taking the journey, beckons us to extend the wisdom gained from our own experiences to assist others in traversing their paths of hurt and healing. Just as we have learned to understand and heal from our trials, it becomes a mission of compassion to guide others. Healing, in its most accurate form, often begins with a courageous step to self-recognition and acknowledgement. It is a call to embrace our vulnerabilities and embark on a road trip towards profound healing, understanding that the first milestone on this path is a deep and honest introspection. In this space where words often fail, I hope to offer some solace, understanding, and perhaps a way to get through these complex emotions. Whether you are currently experiencing this, have gone through it, or just wish to understand more, this episode is for you. So let's take this walk together, knowing that while the path may be difficult, it is also one where we can find strength, healing, and a deeper connection with our faith and ourselves. So here's a brief personal reflection. As I was reflecting on the loss of my beloved mother and the journey of caregiving, I find myself immersed in a sea of mixed emotions. The experience was a profound teacher, imparting lessons of love, patience, and resilience. It taught me the strength that lies in vulnerability and the courage required to face each day, even amidst the shadows of grief and fatigue. My mother's strength and grace in her final days have left an indelible mark on my soul, shaping my understanding of what it truly means to care for another. The void left by her absence is tangible. Yet in this space, I have discovered a deeper connection to my own spirit and to the values she instilled in me. Her departure has been a catalyst for growth, inspiring a journey towards healing and self-discovery. I've learned to navigate the complexities of grief, finding solace in memories and in peace and in the knowledge that her love continues to guide me. This experience, though heart-wrenching, has also been a wellspring of insight, reminding me of the preciousness of time and the importance of compassion, both for others and for myself. It's a reminder that in caring for someone we deeply love, we are also caring for a part of ourselves and sharing my story. I hope to offer comfort and understanding to others facing similar paths, reaffirming that even in our deepest losses, there is an opportunity for profound growth and healing. So let's explore the complex emotions caregivers experience. As we settle in this conversation, I want to dedicate this episode to all the caregivers out there who have walked the solemn path of saying goodbye to their loved ones. This episode is a tribute to your strength, your love, and the silent sacrifices you have made. In the caregiving journey, we often become so entwined with the daily needs and well-being of the person we are caring for that their passing leaves us in a state of profound change. The emotions that follow are complex and multi-layered. There is grief, which we expect, but there's also a range of other feelings that can be surprising and difficult to understand. For some, there's a sense of relief. Relief that their loved one is no longer suffering, and perhaps relief from the intense demands of caregiving. This relief is often accompanied by guilt, a feeling that can be hard to acknowledge and even harder to talk about. Then there's a sense of emptiness and uncertainty. Caregiving can become such a significant part of our identity that when it ends, we might find ourselves wondering, what's next? What now? This period of redefining oneself can be as challenging as it is essential. It is also expected to feel a profound sense of loss. Not just the loss of the person we care for, but the loss of a routine, a purpose, a role that gave our days structure and meaning. This type of loss can lead to a sense of aimlessness and a need to rediscover who we are beyond our role as caregivers. Let's explore these emotions, acknowledging their complexity and offering a space for understanding and healing. Whether you are in the midst of this experience or you know someone who is, I hope this episode brings you comfort, insight, and a sense of companionship in your journey. So the initial feeling of loss and grief, let's talk about that. So as we begin to explore the emotional landscape that follows the loss of a loved one, let us first turn our attention to the initial feelings of loss and grief. These feelings are often the most immediate and intense, wrapping us in the wake of our loved one's passing. Grief is a complex emotion, deeply personal and unique to each individual. For many of us, the first waves of grief can feel overwhelming. It is as if we are caught in a cyclone of sorrow, where moments of intense sadness, longing, and even disbelief swirl around us. It is a natural response to the profound loss we have experienced. In these early stages, it's not uncommon to feel a sense of numbness or shock, especially if the loss is sudden. This numbness is our mind's way of shielding us from the full impact of our loss, giving us the time to process our emotions gradually. Then there are moments of acute longing and yearning for the presence of our loved ones. We might find ourselves reaching out to them in the quiet moments of the day, longing for one more conversation, one more moment of connection. This yearning is a testament to the depths of our love and the bond we shared. Amidst these feelings, we might also experience moments of regret or self-doubt. Questions like, did I do enough? or could I have done something differently may surface. It's important to recognize these thoughts as a natural part of the grieving process and to gently remind ourselves that we did the best we could with the knowledge and resources we had. As a caregiver, the relationship with our loved ones is layered with care, responsibility, and a deep sense of connection. The loss, therefore, is not just of a loved one, but of a role that defines a significant part of our daily lives. Acknowledging this complex intertwining of emotions is crucial in our journey toward healing. In the time leading up to my mom's demise, she spent a month in the hospital and 8 days in a nursing home. As I reflected on those moments, I realized that I was not able to spend time with her alone. For years, it has just been me and her. And I begged for someone else to spend time with her and give me a break. I thought it strange that as her decline increased, I wanted alone time with her. Then I felt the strangeness may have come from the amount of support I received from my siblings at this point in her life. And all I wanted was to be alone. In my heart, I was trying to process what was to come next. I did not know, what to do with the plethora of emotions that I was feeling. So I kept quiet. How do I balance the relief of a loved one's release from suffering with the hollow void their absence leaves? This question often lingered in my heart, echoing in the silent spaces of my home. Was it right to feel a sense of peace, knowing her pain has ended, yet simultaneously be engulfed by a wave of sorrow at her absence? These conflicting emotions created a complex imprint within me, a blend of gratitude and grief, relief and longing. When I received the call from the nursing home that my mother had passed 10 minutes earlier, I was shocked and remember shouting, "No!" Then I immediately got dressed to see her and pray over her soul. It was at that moment I realized I was trying to process her death and my life without her. It was 3 weeks before we could lay her body to rest. And during this time, there was a sense of emptiness, like something inside of me was missing. Every time the phone rang, I automatically looked at the phone to see if her picture would pop up before I answered. In those quiet moments of introspection, I grappled with the guilt that sometimes accompanied my relief. Could I truly allow myself to feel a semblance of freedom when it came in such a cost? And in the stillness of the night, when her absence felt most profound, I pondered the intensity of the emptiness left behind. How do I feel the space once occupied by a mother's suffering, love, and presence? Each day, I navigated the web of emotions, learning to accept that it is possible to feel both grateful for her peace and deeply saddened by her departure. It was a journey through the landscapes of my heart, where each emotion, no matter how contradictory, had its place in time. Moreover, in the time of deep emotional turmoil that I experienced during and after the loss of my mom, I kept this verse close to my heart. Psalms 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It particularly resonated with the emotions I incurred. Here's how it relates. 1, walking through the darkest valley. This phrase symbolizes the journey through the most challenging and painful times in our lives. My experience of caring for my mother during her last days and wrestling with her loss aligns with this concept. It represents the deep sorrow and the sense of going through an unknown dark period filled with intense emotions. Number 2, fear no evil. This part of the verse, it speaks to the courage and faith that sustains us even in our darkest moments. My story reflects this courage. Despite the shock, grief, and overwhelming mix of emotions, I found the strength to continue, to pray over my mother, and to face life without her. It signifies the inner resilience and faith that carried me through these trying times. Number 3, for you are with me. This line reflects the comforting presence of God, providing comfort and support. In my journey, this could symbolize the spiritual strength and guidance I felt, helping me process the complex emotions of grief and relief. It suggests a sense of not being alone during this time, with faith acting as a guiding and comforting presence. Number 4, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod and staff are symbols of guidance and protection. In the context of my experience, they can be seen as metaphors for the tools of faith and inner strength that help me navigate the difficult path of loss. They represent the spiritual and emotional support systems that brought me comfort and enabled me to fight with the guilt, emptiness, and longing. Psalms 23, verse 4, therefore, encapsulates the spiritual journey I underwent while dealing with my mother's passing. It reflects the process of moving through profound grief, supported by faith, and the comfort it brings, even in the most challenging times. Therefore, in the quiet aftermath of her passing, I realized that her legacy endures within me. Her strength, her faith, and her unyielding love continue to guide me, lighting my path as I navigate the future. Her spirit, now freed from earthly constraints, lives on, not just in memory, but in the very essence of my being. Though her physical presence is no longer beside me, her teachings and the love she shared remain a constant, indelible part of who I am. Her journey, intertwined with mine, taught me invaluable lessons about grace under pressure, the importance of cherishing each moment, and the power of faith to uplift and sustain. These lessons have become a guiding force in my life, a compass that directs my decisions and interactions with others. As I move forward, there is a sense of hope that emanates from the memories and the wisdom she imparted. It is a hope that speaks of resilience in the face of adversity, the beauty of shared human experiences, and the unending capacity for love and growth. Her life, a testament to the strength of the human spirit, inspires me to approach each day with courage and optimism. So, and thinking about embracing our emotional journey, as we navigate these conversations together, I would like to take a moment to invite each of you, my dear listeners, to just join me in a reflection. Let's pause here in the midst of our daily routines to turn our attention inward to our own hearts and experiences. Think back to a time in your caregiving journey, or perhaps a moment after your loved one passed away. Recall the emotions that surfaced during these times. Were there moments of deep sorrow mixed with feelings of relief? Did you experience a sense of longing intertwined with gratitude? Maybe there were instances of quiet joy that you hesitated to acknowledge. I encourage you to hold these memories gently, to allow yourself to feel whatever emotions arise without judgment. Understand that each feeling, whether it is grief, relief, loneliness, or even a fleeting moment of happiness is a valid and natural part of your journey. In this moment of reflection, recognize that your emotions are a testament of your love and the depth of your relationship with the person you cared for. They are not signs of weakness, but rather indicators of your humanity and the profound impact of your experiences. If you find yourself struggling with feelings of guilt or uncertainty, know that you are not alone in this. Many of us in the caregiving community have walked through similar valleys of mixed emotions. It is okay to feel relief that your loved one is no longer suffering. It is okay to feel a sense of emptiness in their absence. Your emotions do not diminish the love and care you provided. They enrich the tapestry of your caregiving story. As we continue on this episode together, I want to remind you that there is strength in sharing and acknowledging our feelings. Let us hold space for these feelings, acknowledging their intensity and their role in our healing journey. If you are comfortable, I encourage you to share your reflections and experiences with someone you trust or within our supportive community here. Remember, in sharing, we find solidarity, understanding, and often the first steps towards healing. You are not alone in this. Your grief is a reflection of your love, and in that love, there is great strength. So now it's time for 3 actionable steps. Focusing on the initial feelings of love, loss, and grief experienced by caregivers, here are 3 actionable steps to guide you through this challenging phase. These steps are designed to help you actively engage with your feelings of loss and grief, providing you with tools to process these emotions in a healthy and supported way. First, number 1, recognize and name your emotions. So take time to identify and name the emotions you are feeling. This could be done through journaling, meditation, or simply quiet reflection. Recognizing emotions like sadness, anger, guilt, or relief is a crucial step in understanding the weight of your loss. Write down or speak out loud about the emotions you are experiencing to help you acknowledge these feelings. Actionable step number 2, create a memory space. Create a physical or digital space dedicated to your loved one. It could be a photo album, a memory box, a digital slideshow, or even a dedicated area in your home. Fill this space with items or memories that remind you of your loved one, aiding in the grieving process. This space can serve as a tangible reminder of your loved one and a place to connect with your memories and emotions. And number 3, seek support and share your story. Reach out for support, whether it is from friends, family, support groups, or professional counseling. It is essential to share your story and feelings with others, as it can be a powerful tool in processing grief. I invite you to share your experiences here, fostering a sense of community and mutual support. Now it is reflection time. As usual, I like to give you a motivational quote and an inspirational scripture to reflect on. And the first one is a motivational quote from Khalil Gibran. Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. This quote speaks to the transforming power of grief and suffering, suggesting that the deepest challenges we face can lead to profound strength and resilience. It inspires us to see our own experiences of loss and caregiving as a part of our journey toward inner strength. Number 2, inspirational scripture. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. That's Matthew chapter 5, verse 4 in the English Standard Version. This scripture offers a promise of comfort to those who are grieving. It acknowledges the pain of mourning, but also assures that there is divine consolation and support for those who are experiencing loss. So as we reach the end of this first segment, the weight of loss in our episode, Navigating the Silence Emotions After the Farewell, I want to pause and reflect on the journey we have just taken together. We have dwelled into the heart of grief, acknowledging the profound sadness and complexity of emotions that come with the passing of a loved one. It is important to remember that this weight, though heavy, is also a reflection of the death of our love and the significance of our loss. Like Khalil Gibran eloquently said, out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. Our scars, our experiences of grief and loss shape us and mold us into stronger, more compassionate beings. And in this journey of mourning, as we embrace the words from Matthew 5:4, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Let us hold on to the promise of comfort. This comfort may come from various forms, through our faith, the support of our loved ones, or in the quiet moments of solitude where we connect with our memories. As we wrap up this segment, I encourage you to carry these reflections with you. Let them be a source of strength and solace as you navigate the silence that follows farewell. Your emotions and your journey through grief are as valid as they are unique. You're not walking this path alone. We are together, finding our way through the silence, guided by our memories, our faith, and our shared experience. And as we come to the close of this segment, I want to extend words of encouragement and blessings to each of you. To those of you carrying the weight of loss, know that your journey, though marked by sorrow, is also a testament to the unbreakable bonds of love. Your resilience in the face of grief is a powerful affirmation of your strength and capacity for deep love. Bless each of you with the strength to face your grief, the courage to acknowledge your emotions, and the hope for comfort and peace in the days to come. May you find solace in your memories, support in your community, and strength in your faith. Thank you for being a part of this conversation and for allowing yourself to feel, to remember, and to seek comfort in our shared stories. Stay tuned. In our next segment, we will explore the journey of grief further, understanding how it evolves and shape our path forward. Don't forget to comment and let us know what you think, share or like. Thanks again for listening to Caregivers Chronicle Unveiled, the silent emotions after the farewell. I am your host, Doc Steph. Peace and love.